Cassie, Kelly.
We've never met. It's so great to meet you,
Familiar. The name's ringing a bell.
right? So for starters, I'm jumping in, Kyle. Maybe you should change me to host. However, just for starters, I want
Oh,
everyone to recognize the green. Okay, friends. I understand on your podcast that we have this, so many central folks,
Yeah.
so many Red River folks.
Yeah.
Like, I just really want to bring in that East Side is the best side kind of vibe. So,
Oh,
like,
we're done.
Yeah.
I think we can
thanks for logging
wrap
off.
it up.
We lost Corey. Wait a second. We should lose Corey. Are you kidding me? He's from like Edgeley or something. What is that? They don't even
He's
have
upset.
colors.
He's
He's
wearing a Red River
upset.
hat. But I should
Good.
decline
Now we
his.
can
I
now we
might
can
decline the first couple of requests he makes to get back in.
yeah, right.
You're
Access
gonna be
denied.
Patrick. You're gonna be punished
I'll
for
let
it.
him sit in Zoom
In
purgatory
purgatory.
for just a little
Yep.
while.
Yep. Never. Not ever.
Yeah.
Syrian.
Siren. Hey, welcome back, Corey. You don't get to log off. You're from like Edgeley, buddy. Come on. You're
Sometimes
there's
you gotta
actually
take a stand.
there's actually an AI program on my computer. Whenever it hears East Grand Forks, it just turns off.
I
No
said
more.
East Side just in case. I didn't want to get it twisted.
Yeah.
No
The
more.
Corey, I had to filibuster the attempt for them to where they were voting to decline letting you back into the call.
All right. Maybe a night off for me is illit or is advisable.
Where did
You're
you get Kansas City, did you say?
Hmm.
Nice.
you're
Yeah.
welcome.
Yeah. You haven't seen my Kansas City welcome keychain.
Whoa. Whole trip was worth it right there.
Hmm.
Yeah.
That's where it needs to be. Tape it on.
Yeah, that looks a little bit like a paddle if you're into the world's mildest S&M.
It
Small
feels right for
paddle.
my heritage.
Yeah.
That's what you're gonna find out next. And fun Kansas City fact: S&M capital of the United States. So we get little wooden paddles.
For entry level S&Mers though.
Yeah.
It's just a soft opening.
Yeah,
Now
not
I'm
quite
a,
a
now
full
I'm a little
paddle, but
worried.
paddle light.
Now I'm a little worried about this welcome gift.
I don't want to touch it.
I need to return it. Say thanks.
No,
Oh.
thank you.
Pass.
Um,
Why is there an upside down pineapple in my room?
Oh,
while Fuller
Corey.
was there.
Get out of there. Get out of there
Yeah,
right now.
run. We've totally hijacked your podcast, Gosher.
Hey,
So
that's
sorry. You'll
It's
think
uh
twice
Kelly's
next time.
podcast.
that's really how they all go, Cassie. So
Oh, good.
don't feel bad. But it
Kyle
is
hasn't even started the show.
we're calling that the cold open.
Oh, good.
Um, yeah, so it's North Dakota. It's after dark. This is episode 7 of season 2. We're really excited to welcome Cassie.
Me?
Thank you for joining us all the way from Chestnut Street. We
Down the
have
road.
yet another South End Grand Forks guest.
Yeah.
And as you heard in the open, she's wearing green as a late homage to St. Patrick's Day, I think.
I, fun
I
fact. I'm
actually
not
thought it
idle.
was I thought it was her Halloween costume. She's going as Envy.
Ooh.
Also, yeah, not bad.
Thanks.
My heart's cold. It's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's fine. You can't hurt me.
Dead inside.
Or an evergreen tree.
Yeah. Just,
No.
just as your favorite Saint Day?
No. Getting colder. Guys. Hey, Kosher, you probably have to look to your right outside. It's just, over the river, that good side over there. So, like, home.
I blurred everything out on my map. Once you get to the river, I just pretend it doesn't exist.
No, I'm not interested. No, thank you.
That's like the wall. Is that the really tall border? We don't let
Yeah.
anyone in or out. Good. Good.
Uh,
Actually, I hate to tell you guys, but Trump just doged Minnesota and they realized that East Grand Forks wasn't worth keeping open.
We're gonna pass.
no thanks.
Perfect. Well, it looks like North Dakota's not going to have any competition in hockey next year then, so okay.
Clearing the way. Yeah, we're clearing the way.
It's all coming up.
All good.
Um, so being that you're notoriously humble, Cassie, we can introduce you as a hockey parent, hockey coach, heavily involved in a lot of different aspects of hockey. So one of the reasons we thought we would bring you here tonight is that despite Corey's objections, um, the
Many,
fact that
many
nobody else will answer
objections.
our calls is that just a fresh take on some of the stuff we typically talk about, ranging from hotels to drinks to kids. And you had both a son and a daughter go through or currently going through the program. So just to talk a little bit different perspectives on two different kids of two different genders going through the program and how that might be similar or different and then how the path looks going forward here, being that we mostly talk about boys, just like all the good podcasts do.
Well, this is great. Absolutely. Yeah, so son, sophomore, just finished up last year, Bantams, his second year Bantams, and decided he's gonna golf and play tennis, which is great. And he was predominantly BB1 player throughout, and I coached him, gosh, from when he was a termite all the way through Pee-wees. And simultaneously, once my daughter started in termites, then I dual coached. And still coaching her through her Pee-wee. So she is done, as you guys know, and done with Pee-wees. And options are Bantams or try out for high school. And so she's going to do both and see where the coin flips.
Right.
So,
And I guess that's yeah, one of the areas I thought would focus on too, and that sometimes given the numbers in the girls program in town here, sometimes that, for the boys, sometimes that decision comes a little later, often in high school, like, stay in high school, go play elsewhere. But those decisions for girls are happening at a lot younger age. Several paths available, like I said, high school, bantam, starting to get to the age now when outside programs come calling as well. So, given that your daughter is still, a young lady here, how tough is that to manage? Is it, given that there's a young person still figuring things out there, asked to make a pretty significant decision about a game they really like to play?
absolutely, it's hard. I don't want the fall to come, frankly. We want yet another year of Pee-wees, but her heart has been set on this Bantams because they're all her friends, right?
Right.
They're everyone she grew up when she was 4 years old. And the transition is inevitable, right? Whether it's high school, whether it's a program outside of this area or this region. And that's all girls. She did have the privilege of and a great opportunity to play Tier 1 Team ND, which was all girls from mostly Bismarck and then Fargo, West Fargo. And that was a really great experience. I was probably far more hesitant than she was, thinking, oh shit, we're going to play with all girls and we've never done this before, and personalities and attitudes and all the things that she's never had to deal with, which I usually would have said that she's really super lucky to not have to deal with any of that. But now I'm thinking, gosh, as a end of the seventh grade year, you should probably have experienced this so you can figure it out, so you're not figuring it out as a freshman or a sophomore. So it was a great experience. She was very much welcomed on that team. But those are hard decisions, and I probably make it more difficult than it needs to be. She's just like, I'm doing this and I'm doing this, and wherever it goes, it goes. And she's more of a free spirit than I am, where I'm type A and I want to know and I have a plan and everything's working out. So yeah, it will be interesting. She also has opportunities outside of here, but I'd like her to stay youth for a while longer, eighth grade next year. It's still young. They have a lot to still learn and to develop. So
And I understand the lunch at the school that our kids all go to features a thing called yogurt roulette, and I would hate for her to miss out on one more year of watching
yeah,
boys play yogurt roulette.
100%. And slinging food at each other and how they don't get into trouble. And it's like the greatest thing ever. Yeah.
Yeah.
And farting competitions, let's be honest. She wins a
Well,
lot of them.
and
So,
and to
Respect
be
that.
yeah,
100%.
to be fair,
So
my oldest and your daughter used to shoot pucks together at the hockey academy, then hide under my desk and make fart noises because they thought I couldn't hear them
Yeah,
giggling and
still do
making
it.
fart noises there. Like it was just random fart noises.
Class.
Best ever.
Yeah.
Best ever. Yep.
Yeah.
You
So
probably
yeah.
didn't know where those were coming from.
Yeah.
Right. Now,
Yeah.
our three children just get into trouble at the lake, and I mean, same thing.
This
I
is the
really,
worst excuse I've ever heard Kyle try to pull about the fact he farts at work all the time. Oh
Yeah.
no, there's these two kids under my desk.
Yeah.
It
There's
wasn't
two
me.
small children. Not
yeah,
me.
we did have a random garage door in that office. So I was outside listening to them. But yeah, thanks, Corey.
You're welcome.
Not me and my irritable bowel syndrome.
Yeah.
That's
Um,
what it
so just back to your previous point, and we'll try and keep it less serious, but how did your daughter find the transition from going from, predominantly boys to girls, and how any changes she noted or different dynamics?
Different dynamics, absolutely. With boys, they're just so easy. The things that they fight about, the things that they talk about in the locker room, it's just not a big deal. The conversations in a girls' locker room are a lot more different. The styles of what they wear to the arena and things on their face and in their ears and around their neck, the jewelry, the makeup, things like that, that like she didn't deal with, didn't do, and no one else around her. Your kid wasn't wearing makeup, so that dynamic is very different. And in between games, they all go shopping instead of going to sweet shots and those types of things. So the dynamics are very different. But the team that she was on were predominantly ninth graders, so they were much older than her, which also has another different dynamic to it, right?
Yeah, right. I
But she
suppose
enjoyed
that
it.
at that age, that could be fairly significant.
Yeah. Yep. All
Interesting.
things to look forward to,
Right.
right?
Right.
No, not for me. Like it was so much easier. The locker rooms are so much easier on the boys' side, but
Um, yeah, I guess one of the reasons I asked too is just it gets as girls that were formerly that age at one point, I think it's you mentioned a transition time out of being a little girl and you're becoming a teenager, and there's some different emotions and stuff going on. Leaving my house today to go to the rink, and two gals waited for them at the stop at the stoplight. They were crossing the street. I thought one of them was your daughter, so I waved. It was not, and this girl could not have rolled her eyes any harder at me. Like,
if it was my daughter, I'd be like, oh my
yeah,
God,
I
it's
thought I
your
might have to call a medical
Sometimes the other
professional because
girl's
those
like,
eyes weren't going to go back
this
down.
guy.
daughter. Yeah. For sure.
This guy.
True story.
Yeah,
not, not my child. No,
yeah,
no. She
Oh,
would have been
I
thrilled.
don't know you.
Right? Anytime that you drive by, she lets me know. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Tough deal there.
Yeah.
For
I
a
think I think sure what she's running into right now is now she's not seeing the boys any different. They're still her friends. They're like some of them are her brothers. She fights with them like her brothers,
yeah,
right? But now it's in spring with say your guys' group. You can't come in the locker room. And she's like texting me, Mom, I'm in a locker room all by myself. I can't do this. I'm like, you're,
Poor
you're,
girl.
you're
That would be
okay.
hard.
You're okay. And she's like, I don't know if I can do that. Like, I'm not with my boss. Like, what's going on? We're like, what, 2 weeks into it. So it's now like, yeah, I can get my own locker room. It's okay. It's all right.
Would you want to?
Yeah.
Just throw
So
some power tools in there. There are all sorts of room for activities.
well, some
Then it
laundry.
smells better in there though.
Yeah,
no,
yeah.
There's that.
doesn't like silence,
You
right?
cannot put a price on the smell differential
Yeah.
from
Oh, for sure.
the singular locker room to the locker
Yeah.
room with the stinky boys.
Yeah. 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 No, it's now just, it smells like cleaning agent in here, like cleaning orange. And I'm like, you're not used to that.
Terrible.
It's okay. So, others will transition quicker than she will. And it is what it is.
Yeah. On the plus side, I bet she gets out of there a lot sooner than other
Oh,
kids I
absolutely.
know.
Yeah. Yep. Gets on the ice quick, gets out of the locker room quick. Yeah.
Yeah, nobody
I
else is there
appreciate
with you. You're not hanging around.
Let's turn around because she's usually the last one out now.
Yeah.
Thanks to Parker Arian for teaching her that.
It's catching on.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right.
I gave that
You
young
don't have
man.
to hustle out of here.
Yeah. I had to give the aforementioned Parker a ride this weekend, and I was waiting so long in the parking lot, I thought I had the schedule wrong. So I went in to find a couple of the boys, and they were sitting in the room. They're all ready to go, sitting down, feet up on their bags, talking about Florida and Minecraft. Like, hey, this could have happened in a variety of other places,
Yeah.
Including in the
Oh,
truck.
good.
Why not you though? You know, I
Yeah.
mean, why when you're having a nice time, those two incredibly important topics had to be talked about right then.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get it.
So I thought I'd go for a very precipitous change of topic, and jump right into Cassie, your thoughts on Canadian A&W versus American A&W. Sorry.
American. I've only been to two A&Ws in Canada, and I don't know, like there's a lot of vinegar. The ketchup isn't right, and I can't. I I can't. Mm-mm.
Canadian A&W is an abomination. It's a sin against man and God. And
Not an
I'm
A&W.
I went in there thinking it was the same thing. It's not the same thing.
Mm-mm.
And it's upsetting because I don't know why it would need to be different. Like I'm like, have you had American A&W? Why are you doing this? And I'm gonna do some research and find out A&W was founded in the US, I believe. Hold
Like
on.
I
You're
think
right.
crossed in
So I
Minnesota, to be
want to know
honest
if
with
they
you.
took it and goofed it up or if we took it and improved it. I need to know the answer to that.
Yeah, we need to fact check that. That would be great. Yeah. Mhm.
Now I
However,
Fact check
the Canadian
anything.
all dressed chips and the nibs ropes in Canada, like next level. I'll go there just for that.
Yeah.
Mhm.
No, Canada took a perfectly respectable fast food restaurant and fucked it up.
They
That's what
did
happened
because
here.
right here, A&W began in 1919. Roy Allen opened a roadside root beer stand in Lodi, California.
Hmm.
So it's an American company that Canada went, we should take this wonderful thing and shit all over it. And I don't like it. So
No.
it's upsetting. It's upsetting.
So coach, do you have a preference? Do you have a
I
preference?
I hate to say it, I like the Canadian one better. I think I was probably at your first visit to a Canadian
Yeah.
A&W in Winkler.
Yep.
And I really didn't know you well, but the look on your face said it all when you're like, what?
What the fuck is
It's
this?
just the brainwashing that your childhood brought upon you. And we've been trying, like, you've been real good about getting rid of that, but that's you're wrong. And it's just it's you can't help that you think it's better only because you weren't given better options. Okay. It's when we know better, we do better. That's the answer.
You can get fries on your with fries with gravy, and then you can also get a teen burger there, and those are tough to beat.
My fries go with ketchup.
Yeah.
Sorry. There's no gravy, like mashed potatoes, but no gravy.
Canadians love gravy, poutine.
Mm,
And
mm.
it's good stuff. I'll give them that. It is good stuff, but it's just don't do that to A&W. It's wrong, and there's no excuse, none whatsoever.
I mean,
And
A&W is already a very subpar burger joint in the US. I don't know how Canada even managed to mess that up further.
stop
Fair.
it.
Good point.
Honestly, it
Like A&W is a burger joint you stop at when you're driving through some podunk uh, road on the way to Aberdeen, South Dakota, in like an Andover, because it's the only restaurant for 70,000 years.
they should
And two
have
kids are
one.
screaming in the car that they're hungry, and you're just like, fine, there's an A&W.
So,
I wish we still had one though. Is there still one in the Union? I know there was.
No.
I think that's gone.
Now you have to you got to drive to Boston
I was
if
gonna
you
say
want
that's
to
the
get
closest one I can think of.
Yep.
Yep.
Or Winkler.
There's one on the way to Minneapolis though too.
Is there really?
Is it
Oh
Albany?
yeah, Albany. Yeah,
Oh, yep, they have one too. I scout them out because I like A&W.
yeah. No gravy in either, but that's fine.
It's fine. It
right.
seems like it's not fine.
Just
Kyle
like
seems like it's not fine, but yeah, it
I can get gravy at Southgate. Gravy and bingo.
yeah.
It scratches the itch. All right,
All
okay,
right,
so
guys.
that's
Okay,
fine.
no, not done yet. Sorry,
Oh,
Kyle. There are two current A&Ws in the state of North Dakota.
okay.
Can you guess where they are?
I think one. I know I've seen where we've been to hockey. Is it Minot?
I was gonna say it's the easiest target. Where else would you find a crappy burger joint?
Right?
Minot,
Who's
North
in
So
Dakota.
one
Minot?
is Minot.
Yeah.
Dickinson?
I'm gonna go
Yes,
Bismarck.
it's in Dickinson.
Oh, the other's
No
Dickinson?
kidding.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
The
Yeah.
two
So,
obvious, I would think.
yep.
Yep.
Grand Forks had one years ago.
Yeah. Now I
Yep.
think it's pawn shop.
Yep.
So did Fargo.
Yep. Oh yeah. Yes, they did. Yep. Yep. Bring it
All right.
back.
Kyle's like any other subject, guys.
No,
Any
no,
other subject.
I end up going through Minot a lot. I just didn't know it was there at all.
Let's see here.
I was gonna say I can remember seeing it one of the trips that we were on. So Minot was it. I've seen it in Minot.
Huh.
So
So you have to take the bypass road, right? And it's down, let's see, that would be that's South Broadway, if I remember right. Yep, South Broadway, kind of heading out towards Little Caesars and all that.
No kidding.
Yeah.
Fun fact.
So basically, it's right near the Microtel Hotel in Minot, which should also tell you everything you need to know.
Tracks.
Yep, yep, it does.
Do you want to use this opportunity, Cassie, to say something mean about Minot?
Oh,
Nope.
no, no.
What?
For all the viewers that you guys have, I have to, hmm. I'm gonna refrain from talking bad about other communities.
Deal.
Good
Well
thing
then,
comes from that, coach.
I'll say this: the staff at the Hampton Inn Airport Minot are very nice.
Oh, good, good. I had my first murder trial in Minot, so there you go.
One of the same
Shocker.
people.
I mean, it was, unsuccessful for us as defense, but riveting nonetheless.
Yeah. Well, good. They also have down the street from that Hampton, a combination coffee shop slash plant emporium right next to a massage parlor, 24 hours.
a
The
20
massage parlor?
Yeah.
I'll pass. I'll pass.
Yeah.
It's might as well have a sign. Cops check here.
Huh.
Should I bring some Clorox?
Nothing funny going on
Yes.
here.
It's honestly the easiest place in Minot to do a stakeout, right?
Yeah.
Park the cruiser at the coffee shop and off you go.
I've never seen anybody up to anything good that's like, I could go for a massage at 3:30 in the morning. I just
That's
feel
when
like it's
attention
not
gets you, Kelly.
needed. Well,
Yeah.
I guess
Yeah.
listen.
Makes us want to take a road trip.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just
Well,
that.
speaking of road trips and fast food restaurants, I got a little game. Name your favorite fast food restaurant in the state of North Dakota.
Chain or mom and pop?
Cassie? Oh, either one, doesn't matter.
Okay.
It just
You
it's
look at me
the,
like I eat a ton of fast food.
the rule is
Well,
it has to
hockey
be
parents, I
fast
feel like
food.
we get more used to fast food than we ever want to be,
Yeah.
because you find yourself being like, do I want this? No. Or is that what we're eating? Yeah,
Yes.
that's what we're doing.
Okay, well, my all-time favorite fast food, which I've only ever gotten in Grand Forks, is Taco John's.
Okay.
Oh,
Had Culver's for the first time in my life, like a month ago. So we're doing good.
Culver's
Yeah.
is good.
It's
Yeah.
good.
Yep,
I'm
Culver's would be
impressed.
my pick. But Taco John's. But
Yeah.
I
Potato legs.
I need someone arrested for what they did with their current hot sauce situation.
Yeah.
Like, I want someone jailed for this. It's an apology won't be enough. Bring back the old hot sauce or I'm gonna throw rocks through your windows.
Yeah,
Like
both
it's
plastic containers. Yeah.
it's so like you had such a beautiful, wonderful thing going, and then someone was like, "What if we made it shitty?" And someone else like, "Let's do that." So I want, I just don't want them not just fired, but I would like them jailed, for whoever made the decision. So yeah, but Taco John's is amazing. I've never eaten at a Taco Bell. Fun fact.
Yep.
Mostly because I just refuse. And Culver's is really good. But I also love Wendy's. Wendy's is just kind of just a classic, you know. So
Okay.
that's my vote. But I will say, McDonald's, generic and shitty, but if you ever like want to use like a clean bathroom, that's usually your go-to. McDonald's, for whatever reason, they must have like higher cleanliness standards because that's usually if you like need to stop to pee and everybody's hungry, McDonald's is usually a sure bet. No, not like I'm ever excited for it, but I think that's just a hockey parent hack. Like I want to use a bathroom that I don't find horrifying. Oh, look at McDonald's. So
Kyle?
I'd have a tough time not choosing McDonald's either just because it's ubiquitous, you know what you're getting.
yeah.
Um, I feel like I'm probably missing a mom and pop somewhere, but one that I like that I can't get anyone else to go to is Freddy's Steak Burgers, which I think is only in Fargo.
It's
Yeah.
so good. I'll go with you, Pat.
Okay, deal.
Okay. All right. Everybody else who doesn't like it is stupid and dumb.
Amen.
I don't,
Okay.
but that's true.
I think you're overlooking two of the best ones, which are in Bismarck, North Dakota, of all places.
Let's hear.
Bismarck, North Dakota has one of the last remaining Big Boys burger restaurants. If you haven't been to the Big Boy in Bismarck, you should go get
I will.
yourself a flying pizza burger. It's amazing. Um, or Scotty's drive-through restaurant in Bismarck. Also, both very mom and pop-esque type places.
I've not been to either thing. I was
Me
waiting
either.
to drop like Long John Silver's, and then I would have had to have cut all communication with you. I would have been
Uh,
like, don't talk to me. If you need to tell me something, have Parker or Jess tell me.
okay, to
Don't
address that
ever speak to
allegation,
me again. I was waiting for it. Like I got nervous. So
all Long John
yeah.
Silvers are now connected to White Castles typically. And
Oh,
unless you've been drunk off your ass at 3 in the morning and wandered in there making a hard choice of which one of those two do I really want to eat at?
flip a coin. Ugh. So bad. So,
Yeah.
so bad. Yeah. Nothing like fast food, seafood. What a
Yeah.
concept. I
Still the one in Fargo, right? Like,
think there
Is
is.
there
yeah.
one?
There was, and
This
it was
one was right by an
another.
A&W. That's where I thought one of the A&Ws were.
Yeah, it was one of the like Long
Yeah.
John Silver's are always attached to something else. Like because they can't survive on their own. They're just a tumor and they need something to survive on. So that I was nervous. You gave two answers that I'm intrigued at and I want to eat at both the next time I'm in Bismarck. But yeah, I was waiting for you to just say something horrifying.
There is no Long John Silvers in North Dakota anymore.
They've closed it because there used to be
Both closed.
yeah.
I believe the closest one to us might be in like Nebraska.
Wild that they're still open.
I'm really glad I could use this time to Google this stuff.
Yeah. There used to be one chain in Canada called Joey's Only, which is also equally horrifying.
Yeah.
Um, okay, well, in other news, one of the other things I wanted to talk about, Western Michigan
Yes.
won college hockey championship. Allegedly, and I don't know this for sure, but we'll we'll take it as gospel fact, giving out no NIL money.
That's what we hear.
Yeah, which
Oh.
seems pretty significant in this day and age, especially with all the the portal open, recent departures, some from the program here in town. A lot of them, apparently at least in part financially based. Um, I've long thought in any sport when there's a major change, teams that will adapt or find like inefficiencies in the market will find a way to succeed rather than just, being like the 1999 Rangers, just throwing money at everything. Do you think Western winning is part of a trend, or do you think it's a blip that we won't see again?
I'd
Or
like to see it a trend. I'd like to see it a trend. I I don't know, this NIL situation, I'm not the biggest fan of. But I'm hopeful that it's gospel fact that they haven't given out any of that to the student athletes. I was happy for them. I was happy for them. I think it's great. Never won, right? This is their first,
yeah,
and of course I've been following because of nearing, kind of a North
local-ish.
Dakota.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, little hometown-ish, and that's always fun. Yeah, it will be interesting to see over the next year, two, three, that program and other programs, how this is going to pan out.
Could have something like a UMass effect when they won with McCarr. They went from a sort of an also ran program into a contender slash perennial contender.
Yeah,
See if Western can follow up on that too. Some of the schools in state from it, Michigan, I guess, is the big example. Will bring in several new guys every year, um, but that hasn't translated. They've been good teams, but really hasn't pushed them over the top either. So, two different ways to come at it and certainly different results.
yeah,
I'm hoping too that that is a true thing. I think it would just be terrible to watch college hockey move to the space of buying
yeah,
championships. It's not it it kind of kills it. If you're just able to purchase the best players and then do it that way, it takes the fun out of it. I don't blame kids that make these decisions. If it's there for them to take, I don't blame them at all. I hope it doesn't ruin college hockey. And like you said, Kyle, hopefully, teams figure out ways to work around that, but it's really hard to work around that. It's hard to compete with that. It's a perk that if you can't offer is going to hurt you. So
Yeah.
I'm with you.
mhm,
I hope to see more of that. I would love to see it just go away in general, but it's
yep,
probably not going to happen.
Interesting too, like I think we've all kind of talked about this at different times where the general intent was to not punish kids for selling their name, image, or likeness. You can sign autographs, you can put have one of your jerseys, you can do jersey signings or get paid if EA Sports puts you in a video game, but now it's, kind of flip the script to, straight out cash money to attend, which I don't think was the original intent, but certainly isn't prohibited either. Um, so yeah, I don't begrudge the kids getting the money or taking the money, but it's
Or
right,
or begrudge that other people are making money off of them and that's probably not great
yeah,
either. But I mean, you're making a lot of money to be a college student. Like it's kind of wild. Like normally it costs a lot of money to be a college student. These guys they're making more than people with college degrees,
yeah,
graduated, established people. They're making it in college for picking up a hockey stick. Like it's
that's
wild.
wild. Yep,
Yeah.
and I think part of the deal, and this is sort of I'm introducing a segue to a segue. Um, with the proliferation of hockey players in the US, the junior team's done well the last few years. There are more kids playing hockey all over the state, better athletes playing hockey, uh, more minor hockey, more association hockey, more junior hockey. And for college hockey to potentially shoot themselves in the foot and lose programs, stunting that growth, if kids have no path or nowhere to go, some will drop off.
Yeah.
But if you can add teams or even keep the ones you have and say, okay, here's the next logical step for me if I continue playing, seems like a boon for hockey in the US rather than prematurely shutting the door by shuttering programs that can't afford to shell money out.
Right.
Yep.
So
And
on that note, Cassie, I know you do. Oh, Kelly, were you going to say something?
I was just gonna say there could be, like positives to this as well that, kind of just uh, are byproducts. It might force some programs to um look a little bit more local, to be a little bit more open to development, the programs that can't afford the big paychecks. So there could be some positives that come out of it. I wish it would go away, but hopefully that if most things have unintended side effects. I hope that's one of them. That kids maybe that wouldn't have gotten the same look, that the universities who won't have the same amount of money to spend are willing to take a second look, put a little bit more into developing them, just because that's going to be something that they have to do now.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, and I think, and to be fair, I think, Western had some transfers too, but as I understand it, not for financial reasons, more along the lines of looking for playing time or just, there's a kid from UND that ended up going there, but my recollection was that he said it was just never felt like he fit in here, which I guess can happen too. So, but yeah, on your point, that's sort of what I was talking about, Kelly, with inefficiencies in the market is like, hey, if I get some local kids or kids that, maybe a step below the top tier and lean into them a little bit and work at making them better here or there,
Yeah.
incentivize them to stay through opportunity, I guess.
Yeah.
Yep.
Hopefully we see that, that could be the silver lining. But I did, like I said, I'm hoping that we're not going to see down the road is just the same schools over and over and over again winning or getting to the end because they can just simply they can afford to buy the best players. Like that's the worry, is that when you throw the money element in there, that it just kills competition that would have been there otherwise.
And that's why they won't change this rule, because the biggest markets are now the ones who are winning most often.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah.
Maybe not Western Michigan, but the biggest markets in college hockey are all now consistently in the top level championship games.
Yep, exactly. That's
Yeah.
the hard part.
Yeah. And that was a big complaint about the broadcast is like ESPN was just like couldn't say enough about Boston University and would
Mhm.
felt like didn't bother to learn the names of the guys playing for Western, right? So,
Yeah,
which is but obviously to Corey's point, much bigger draw than
Yep.
Kalamazoo
yeah.
Yeah.
and surrounding environs. So, um, yeah. So I guess that's where the question. Oh, so just on one last thing on Corey's point, when Denver lost out, someone had something on Twitter to the effect of like, please. Uh, Keep Denver in your thoughts at this time. It's been over 12 months since they've had a national championship or something. And I was like, that's pretty good.
Pray for them. Pray for
Yeah,
them.
just
Yep.
yeah, keep them in your thoughts. Player development. So Cassie, you work in a lot of work and I guess volunteer your time in that capacity throughout the state. So talking about trying to do things to keep kids playing at home and better the hockey in the state. Just what are this is an open-ended question here, so feel free to go along for them. But what are your thoughts about where you sort of like to see things go in the state in terms of keeping those players at home and again perhaps funneling them towards
Wait,
college hockey system?
and I think it's going to be hard to keep all players in North Dakota. You are going to get some that will go to Shattuck, go to Sioux Falls, go to Alex in their high school. But I think on the state end, we've had a lot of conversations about really wanting to create more opportunities for kids within the state. And that's through our player development portion or component of North Dakota Amateur Hockey. And we've really, over the last couple of years, have been meeting frequently, brainstorming, talking about, and trying to implement some additional programs, expanding our programs, changing where we hold the programs to make sure that we can capture quite a large audience and participants throughout the state. And one of which that has been a really hot topic lately is year-round Tier 1. And that has kind of been on the burner, simmering for quite some time. And there has been some interest and some discussion, and some folks that apply. And I really think that it may be a really good opportunity for NDHA to jump into that round to create that, and at least whether it is to manage or to oversee or to implement under the kind of like Team ND umbrella as a year-round option and opportunity for the kids in the state. With USA Hockey right now, there's a lot going on. There's been a lot of change and review of player development. And right now they're looking at starting the NDL, the National Development League, as more of the elite Tier 1 or Tier 1s, and more of the what was it, 14U, 16U? No, excuse me, 15U, 17U. And this is going to probably cause some change with our current Tier 1 environment and those schools or programs that hold Tier 1 status that are year round. Because right now there really isn't a rubric or guideline of what quantifies you or qualifies you as a Tier 1 program. It really is if you can get blessed by USA Hockey or by an association, a state association or affiliate, then you can call yourself Tier 1 and however you want to run that. And now you're seeing teams that are getting throttled 40-0. That's not good competition, right? I mean, I even say 12-0 is not good competition. So right now with USA Hockey, there's a 2-year moratorium, which is just a pause. There's going to be no new applications and no new Tier 1 programs that can enter USA Hockey or be sanctioned by USA Hockey unless you already have a current existing Tier 1 program and you can expand it, such as if I had a 16U and a 19U or an 18U, I can also add a 14U if I want under those same guidelines and principles. And that's until our, I believe, 27-28 season. So I think there's going to be a lot of changes, both on the national level as well as it's going to trickle down then to the state affiliates and the districts. So lots of good things, I think, coming down the pipeline, but we really just have to think about it, flush it out. How do we want to handle this and this type of development? Because right now remember the days of being a multi-sport athlete. It's hard to be a multi-sport athlete. To be a good athlete at any sport, you really have to dedicate a lot of time and effort and energy to hone those skills. And right now, skills are just off the chart of a lot of athletes, and that push to strive and keep getting better. I mean, when we played hockey, we were mediocre at best, but we were the best, right? We wouldn't be able to compete with these kids now. So it's a lot of making sure that we don't grow too fast, too quickly, and outside of the box, but yet still keep up with the pace of what may be coming, what is available, what can we do in North Dakota to continue to better develop our players, and even to I use the word recruit loosely, but like in that term, I like really build the program at a really young level and a young age to grow the program at the grassroots level, because numbers are fluctuating all over the state, and some are really low and some keep declining and some are starting to slowly inch up. So we just want to have a lot of kids that want to play hockey.
The great answer. I brought up 3 different questions. One, you understand we're not submitting this for CLE credit. 2, we're not paying you by the word.
Corey logging off. She thought this
I've-
was what we were getting.
I've already got half my application filled out.
And 3, this never occurred to me. Did you guys ever play hockey against each other? Kelly and Cassie.
Did what?
Did you guys ever play against each other?
Were you an angel?
I was an angel. So maybe I play, oh gosh. Okay, so I started
Oh my gosh.
I
We
started
played
in
for
second grade
arena.
and I
When?
was second grade. So I gotta do the math on that. It was in the 90s. And then I was done by 6th grade because I'm gonna be blasphemed here. I quit hockey to become a cheerleader. So but
Okay.
I
I still like you.
I still can wear hockey skates. So but yeah, I was a Grand Forks Angel. So
But
yep,
the first time
I
I
played with
ever,
like Kelly Roach was one of my teammates. Kelly Polovitz,
yep,
Beth Flickle was a teammate
yep,
of mine.
Beth, yep, yep.
So yeah,
I
no,
played against Beth, but it was probably, I think we were either 13U or 15U.
yeah, so I was probably
That
done
when
by then.
we came over and played at the Purper, and I'm like, where the heck are we?
Yeah.
I was like, this is not the Civic Center. What's going on? I've never
Yeah.
been here. Because on the east side, we really didn't like venture over here. Like we didn't cross the river much.
Was
Well,
it the purper that threw you off, for the electricity or the stoplights? What got you?
It was um all of the above, but it was
Indoor plumbing, actually,
what I felt
Kyle.
like was the dungeon and like the toilet with the half wall, and it was just like, and we had to wear flip flops into the shower, and I was like, this
Yeah.
isn't Kansas
it's not
I
for
anymore,
me.
mean,
Toto.
in their defense, it was the first time they'd seen actual running water showers instead of just a bucket with
Look
a
at
ladle.
these.
Yes, when we came over with our horse and buggies, everyone looked at us. I get it.
A miracle.
Totally.
At the beginning of the
That's
game, East
wild.
Grand Forks gave Grand Forks a dowry just so we could play here.
And you know
Well,
what? I still have that game recorded on VHS if I could ever find a VHS player to watch it.
I've got one. Two.
of course you do.
Of course.
You never know. So okay, so
And
circling back to your original. Oh, I'm sorry, Kelly.
I'm just saying, like back in that day, though, like I kind of one of the complaints currently is like the girls because there's just there's not as many programs is that they play the same teams a lot, but back then it was even worse.
Even
Like
worse. Yep.
we played Bemidji so many times.
Hated
Like
them.
you knew every
Hated them.
girl on their
Yep.
team on a first name basis. We played Fargo so many times because there were way less teams. So you just played the same teams over and over and over again. So
Yep.
it
Yep. We
there's
hated Thief
like
River
yeah,
and
like
we
you
hated
always
Kirkston, the Pirates. Yeah, they were like all
yeah,
of our
Crookston
rivals.
was terrible. Yeah, like I hated playing Crookston. No, so you like the girls still, do repeat games, but back then it was like you played a lot of
Maybe
repeats.
three or
I
four.
remember
Yeah.
going up into Canada just to play different teams. I remember we had a tournament in Stonewall, Canada. Kyle, not sure if you've ever been. Um,
Probably.
but the arena was essentially a barn, and there was a hole in the wall of the barn, so snow was blowing in, and the ice cracked, so we had to forfeit the tournament, and everybody had to go home because that was the end. But I remember that cool medals. It was an actual like stone wall. And so I think they just like gave us the medals as like, hey, thanks for driving up here. So
That's great.
yeah.
Best youth hockey memory was International Falls. We went into 11 overtimes for,
Holy
I don't
hell.
know if it was districts, region, whatever it was. And literally, and our overtimes were probably only like 5 minutes, 8 minutes. It wasn't like 20 minutes of overtime each one.
It adds
And
up.
I
It's still an
remember,
hour.
right, we were kids. And I remember going to the locker room, put your feet up, coach said, put your feet up, put your legs up.
We'll be
Oh
fine.
my
You're not
God.
tired.
Oh my gosh. And then the next year we went back and I dislocated my knee. I got ushered into the little Rainy River Medical Center. And now this year I went back for the first time in 22 years. I went back to that medical center because I had pneumonia. I'm like, oh my God, get me out of here. I'm never
Life
coming back.
coming full circle.
They still have my records from back then. They're like, what? You
Oh, we've
still
seen
have this
you
address?
before.
I'm like, oh my God.
You
Yeah.
survived 2 trips to a Canadian hospital?
It was on the International Falls side, right? Rainy
Rainier.
River Medical Center in
Oh,
International
Rainier.
Falls.
Okay. Because Rainy
Yeah,
River's in
not
Canada.
yeah. No,
Yeah. Okay.
no, we didn't dare go over to Canada, right? We
Yeah.
might not be able to get back.
Yeah.
Well,
That's
and
really
I mean, how do you even hit you? Do you pay cash? Like what do you do? We're
yeah.
not part of their healthcare plan.
One thing I guess I didn't tell you at the onset of the show was that on this program we insist on 100% accuracy in geography.
Yes.
So that's your one warning.
I'm out.
Yeah.
Good thing I love coloring maps. I
Yeah.
don't know.
I do too. Big naps.
Yeah.
Corey, are
we
you
have
faking a
sufficiently
power outage
bored,
in Kansas City?
we have bored him to death.
Corey, ask Cassie some questions.
Okay, I'll ask you a question, Cassie.
We fight all the time, every day at the gym. We fight.
Cassie, so as you know, I'm a big proponent of multi-sport athletes. I think it's at from a young age, it's a good thing for them. And I think it helps you develop your body in different ways to make you a more well-rounded athlete. But I think we all could agree that if you're looking to develop disparate skills, focusing on one sport will increase that at a faster rate. But I always want to talk about baseball corollary question for you. So baseball has seen an advent of elbow and shoulder injuries from youth players playing year round, where more and more younger kids are getting tearing their UCL in their elbow or ripping a shoulder. Do you think with the move for kids playing hockey more year round, you're going to see some sort of reciprocal hip injuries or other repetitive use injuries with it just being a constant year-round sport?
I think so.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I think with like labral tears, with clavicle and shoulder injuries, especially in checking.
Mhm.
Yeah, I do. I do see those repetitive injuries, which are unfortunately probably going to happen younger and younger or sooner in someone's career because you're doing that same repetition as opposed to taking it in a season and going on to another sport that involves different muscles or mechanics and movement. Yeah.
Yeah, I wish we could, we talked about the NIL money and how we wish things could go back to the old days because we're just going to be a bunch of old people yelling at clouds. But um, I wish we would have definitive beginning and ending to sports seasons, all of them.
I
Let kids
agree.
be multi-sport athletes again.
The pressure is so high right now. I would
Mhm.
love to go back to that because then it's also the pressure that we're trying to manage from our children or on our children,
Mhm.
and the pressure that they're feeling, and we can't release that valve. That's too hard. And I agree. I would love for there to go back to this is your 6 or 8 weeks, or this is your 8 or 10 weeks.
Well, yeah, just have a break so you're excited when you go back, right? Like
Yeah.
not even the body stuff, but just be like, hey, this is fun again. It's not, skate number
Yeah,
8 of the week or whatever it ends up being, because it's a long season with the pre stuff and you know what I mean? It does
yeah,
that happen? Keep in mind they're, say in our case that 13 years old and
yeah,
I can only imagine. So when I coach baseball, younger kids, it just could be it was a long day at school, or in the summertime, which is almost worse. Kids have basketball, track, and I might be the third or football camp. I might be the fourth thing they're at in a given day, and by the time I get them, there's just nothing left in the tank.
yeah,
Um,
Yeah.
and there's times where even before school's out, they just had a long day at school and they got nothing left. So the I really think sometimes we're just over programming these kids.
yeah.
mhm,
I couldn't agree more. I think the same thing where it's just like because I also think about like and I know times change and they
Yep.
have to, and that's the thing. But I also I have to remind myself constantly, like when I start playing into that as well of like the, you know, oh well, we should probably be in this, we should be in that. I want to go, what were you doing over the summer at 13? And I'll say the same thing to Matt. And like, were you in a specialized workout program? Were you in this and that? And that, like, and he's like, no, I'm pretty
yeah,
sure that I was swimming or fishing or pick up baseball games and stuff. And I'm like, I know that I'm not saying we can't do things different or even like add in things that are a good idea. But I think that there's certain things where I'm like, God, we're muddying this up for kids, like it's adults muddying it up where we're making these decisions because we're feeling like they're going to fall behind. And I'm like, but they're, they got to be kids too, So I'm with you, Corey, is that I feel like if there were more finite rules on that kind of stuff, that it might just, I know you'll still get the people that complain because there's the
Mhm.
people who want to be in everything. And I get it, and I don't have judgment for it because I'm just like, and different kids have different personalities.
yep,
Some of them want to be in everything. Other kids say they do, but they don't really. And some don't, period. But I just I'm with you that it might make it just easier and less stressful on kids if it was just like, so this is what we're doing, this is what is available now. And then if you don't do baseball, then take a damn break.
Mhm.
Like just take a break. I'm with you because I think burnout's a real thing.
Yeah.
It's for anybody. So I think sometimes I don't know. And when I say we, it's I'm talking about my own personal worries as a mom is I don't want to turn something into a job that's not a
Right.
job. So
Yeah.
I don't know what's up with that. So
I think one of the things I noticed too is that, I grew up in a little town without many things to do. And so seeing all the different things that are here, I have to remind myself that signing up, I'm not signing up. Got to sign up the kids for it too. Like it just looks like, oh, this looks fun. I wish I would have been able to do this or that or the other thing too, but just to like remove yourself from the equation and remember there's a kid that's got to get up, go to school, do all that stuff. As Corey said, go to, maybe two or three things in a given evening and then right back to, and then that's really zero time to do anything, right?
no, it's so hard. It's really and it's hard. Again, I don't have judgment for it because it's you sometimes you feel like, oh yeah, maybe we should. And then, I've even signed up for things where later I'm like, ooh, this was probably too much. It's a hard
You gotta
thing.
balance it. Yeah.
Oh
Yep.
gosh, it's hard. And you learn as you go, and I don't think there's any ideal way. And like I said, it's also hard because for some, I think that kind of what it comes down to is what's right for some is totally wrong for others. There's certain kids that's exactly the right answer for them, and then there's certain kids where it's like, maybe they're just not ready for that yet. And I always think about too, like I worry about if you have if everybody has a limit for intensity on things, burning that intensity out at an age where it didn't really matter that you were that intense, because down the road is where it would probably be more beneficial to be. So, and then I know people worry about, well, if I don't get them in now, they won't learn to be intense. And it's just, I don't know. It's parent stuff that when you say out loud, you're like, this is nuts. This is great. This is
What makes us
crazy. But
crazy, right?
yeah, but it's good to talk about it because like anytime I ever do, I think like when I hear other parents say how they feel, I'm like, oh my God, I'm so glad to hear somebody say that out loud. Like because ironically you're around everybody all the time, but you don't always talk about that type of
Yeah.
stuff. So it's kind of nice to talk about it with other parents and hear how they feel. And, either they might feel like, oh, I don't agree with that at all. Or maybe they're thinking like, oh, thank God you feel that way too.
Yeah.
So yeah.
And it just, yeah, prepare for other things. You understand there's a point when, hockey's over, baseball's over, whatever it is. Like I'm trying to start a little shooting league so we can, teach some gun safety and then prepare for the inevitable invasion of Canada and have the kids ready for that, right? So, I mean, you just got to look
Greenland.
forward.
Like, I just want my kids to be good humans and pay their taxes, right? Like,
Wait,
I mean,
what?
like,
You could have stopped at good human. We don't need to pay taxes.
Yeah.
The government's
oh,
paying.
you have to, or else the IRS comes after you and you get to go sit in Connecticut, right? I don't
Yeah.
want to do that.
That's a good
Like, we're
segue to phase two of the show, which is called Taxation is Theft.
were we
Corey,
talking
you're
about
fine. We're not
earlier?
on a watch list.
Um,
Oh, that's all right. I
Yeah.
have an Alexa behind me. I'm sure it's listening to everything I'm saying.
it's already told the government everything anyways.
Yeah, don't care. Don't care.
Maybe we can sell all this to a movie studio for the start of Minority Report 2,
I think so.
I'm
No,
in.
Corey?
Oh, my Minority Report too.
Electric Boogaloo?
I
Just
don't know I don't know which way you're going with that joke. I mean, are we talking about the deportation of minority groups in this country? Are we talking about bad AI? Like, there's so many different ways you could go with that
Talking about
joke.
him left to right.
I'm
Talk
only
about him left
talking
to
about
right.
Tom Cruise,
I was
basically.
gonna say we're talking about Tom Cruise,
Yeah.
Corey.
Corey took that far left. Of course he would with that analytical brain. Gosh, are you sure we're not getting COEs for this?
We're talking about Tom Cruise, all right?
That's it. I'm out of here.
we're gonna deep dive into Scientology, okay? I bring very little to the table. Bravo knowledge, that's number one.
Yes.
But knowledge of weird side religions, that's a hidden one I haven't talked that much about. So let's go.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, if you haven't heard enough about, the Real Housewives of Utah or of Salt Lake City and read their books, like,
It's a merging of my passions.
it's so good.
Real Housewives and Mormons. It's a wonderful marriage.
Yeah.
Love it.
Mine is Real Housewives and murder trials that I watch on YouTube,
Yep, we haven't gotten to that yet. They go to jail for a lot of other reasons, but I bet murder's coming down the pipe. I can see this happening. So stay tuned.
You guys Cassie, one of the reasons we started this podcast is to raise a little money to invest in our Salt Lake City strip club called Super Soakers. So would you like in on the ground floor?
Yes, that'd be great.
Corey, why did you come back?
You will not regret it.
Will not regret it.
Apparently, I came back too soon.
Regret every part of it, but it'd be very fun.
Speaking of Utah, I mean, do we know when the name is coming, a new name, and what the name might be for the Utah Hockey Club? Because that was kind of lame. I like the colors.
I thought it was
I thought they picked one.
it was Yetis, and I thought you were going to sue them over it.
So the rumor
I thought it was the Mammoth.
Yetis,
Oh, maybe that's right.
I heard Mammoth as well because I thought if it's like Sasquatch or Yetis or something like we're gonna just have to we're gonna have an issue with that. I mean,
when everyone knows there's one right answer and it's the Storm and Mormons, and you lean into it, the merch sells itself. I just
tell me what the logo is gonna look like.
I want them in full suits, with hockey. So hey, have you had the opportunity to hear about our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ? I wanted. This was served up on a silver platter, and they just walked away from it. And I'm like,
Corey's taking notes. He's going to pitch it to them after his meeting this week.
He's getting ready for his eventual deposition.
Yep. You walked away from something.
This is how I recall this happening.
I do not recall that. I wasn't paying attention.
I cannot admit it.
So it's not official, but they did file a trademark extension for the Mammoth. So I don't think they don't officially released anything.
Well, I mean, do they have a logo posted yet? No.
Yeah, well, they have the one that's been trademarked.
Oh, okay.
I don't know.
You can see that with the blur.
Oh, Corey. Oh.
That reminds me of watching HBO when I was 13.
I see something.
Or dial-up internet.
That was a boob.
Right.
That was a boob picture. Yep, that was one.
That was my favorite pre-puberty game. Is that a boob or an elbow?
It was an elbow every time, Corey.
Whatever you tell yourself it is.
Your parents didn't have Showtime.
No, but the blurry channels were Showtime. So if you just sat and watched enough static, you might get lucky.
Yeah.
Yeah, you might something.
Is that why you're a little cross-eyed?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a boob.
Yeah. In an effort, Cassie, to keep our shows to a reasonable length, we're up on our time here. Do you have any parting shots you'd like to extend? Felt like we started down a lot of paths and took none of them to completion. But that's okay.
Parting shots? What are my parameters? Oh my gosh.
Just throw it out there.
Anything. You can pick on Minot. You can do whatever you want.
I cannot pick on other North Dakota towns.
Take a shot at Petersburg. What have they done for you lately?
Yeah.
What's a great meme? It was a great meme that I got from a great friend that said something like, the East hates the West hates the East, but really everyone just hates Mandan. So I mean, it's just
what we can all agree on.
I mean, it's the one thing we can agree on. And why is Richland in North Dakota?
It's a great uniter. Yeah. Everybody's got to have that,
Yeah.
I mean, it's just good it exists.
fun story that I have to make sure that you guys hear is our Yetis did a tournament this weekend in Fargo,
Yeah.
and it was like our first checking tournament because it's for the 25-26 season. Let's just see how everyone does. And I'm thinking this is great. We'll be fine. We'll be fine. We kind of said we're in the middle of the road, not too great, not too not great. We were with the 204 Thunder out of,
Oh
I don't
no.
know, Canada.
Yeah.
They were major Bantams. Let's just say
Yeah.
93 shots on Grayson Melgard, and he saved all but seven,
Good for him.
and it was
For him.
phenomenal, thank God. But the greatest were two stories from two of my players who I love and adore, and I've coached these kids for years and years and years. It's like whole family, and one of which came to the bench and hand in or helmet in hands, crying and inaudible. I'm like, oh my gosh, buddy, what's going on? Did you get hurt? Because let's be honest,
Yeah.
we were getting physically railed, and he looks at me, and all of a sudden he can speak clearly. They are so huge. I'm gonna die today. You're not gonna die. And I went, you're
You're not
buddy,
gonna die.
you're not
Yeah.
gonna die today, and you're not gonna die on my watch. You are
Yeah.
doing great. Keep your head up. Stay
We're
out
gonna
of the
die
corners,
today.
and you're just fine.
We're gonna die here. Oh.
So then I get a wonderful text message from a parent of another child on the team that said, my kid got in the car after last night's game and says to me, I'm proud of myself. And I look at my husband and we go, what for? He said, staying alive. Did you see how big those kids are? And the husband says, oh, buddy, but the girls were taking harder hits than you were. And he said, yeah, well, I'm sure they're proud to be alive too today. I have to tell you, I've never had so much fun with
Oh.
12 and 13-year-olds against some really big freshmen and sophomores that were literally laying them out. And you know what? They didn't quit. They didn't give up. That was the worst game,
Pretty good,
and the
yeah.
rest was pretty good. So
To be fair, those kids have had an entire lifetime of good A&W too, so it's even tougher to compete against.
Lies. Lies. No,
no, they teach hitting at center ice.
that is the crux of this age group that we are in, is that you have kids like my kid, not in puberty, and he is at a face-off with a child with a full-grown beard, and I'm pretty sure a family of four. So I'm like, let's see how this goes. This should be fun, like this. I don't see anything happening here, but there's nothing you can do about it because that kid's 13 also. So I'm like,
Yeah. This
fire
is that second year Pee Wee, first, second year Bantam, like kids growing at different stages, different ages, and
Oh.
holy cow, it's gonna be fun. Buckle up, right?
Yeah.
It'll be good.
It'll be fine. It'll be fine.
And if you just say, I'm just proud that I'm still alive, I think you're doing
That's
good.
great,
You
yeah.
know, like
I'm proud of you
great
too,
motto.
buddy.
I will continue to live by that.
I'm proud I'm still alive.
Yeah.
Get it. A win's a win.
A win's a win.
Yeah.
For a very very brief anecdote along the lines of Cassie's, 2 weeks ago had some kids at a tournament in Bismarck, had to pick up some local kids. One kid just really uh, saw this young guy, just the nicest kid you'd ever meet. Wouldn't swear around the coaches. Apparently, maybe just a touch around the kids, but was very mindful of his language around the coaches. He had a little set two with a kid from South Dakota. They were kind of yipping at each other. South Dakota kid skated by our bench, said something to the kid, and then on the way back, this kid was going to get him. So he stands up and leans over, and the typical response is, I'm sure you know the words. Like there's only 7 or 8 words of hockey guys. You'll yell at each other on the ice, and he just stammers out, "You're not very good." And just get out,
Got him.
well played. That one's gonna
So
sting
good.
for many years to come.
Yep.
Listen, he didn't even know what to do with that. And you're not very good. So what do you
Facts.
put that
Yeah.
in your pocket, all right?
Yep.
Corey, you got to write that down
True.
for your best hockey chirps you've ever heard.
I bet
You're
it
not
disarmed the kid. I bet he was like, what did you
exemplary.
say? Should somebody do what he said?
Yeah.
You just suck.
Yeah,
You big jerk, you big meanie.
right along those lines. Corey, do you want to? Why don't you go lay down?
No,
We'll wrap this up, and then you can just nod off.
I don't get a parting shot.
Yeah,
Wow.
go for it. Your
All
party
right,
shot's at
fine.
bedtime, Corey.
Oh.
All right, coming up at the next big popular board game convention, Dice Tower East, brought to you by Milton Bradley and America Online. New popular board game. Is it a knee, elbow, or boob?
You'd kill with the millennial crowd and the
Yeah.
Gen Xers.
Yeah.
Yep.
Ooh, close. That was actually a knee. Close
Yeah.
though. Yeah.
Yeah,
Uh,
perfect. Well, you should patent that, Corey, in your
I'm
free
working
time.
on it, right? Technically a
Cleaning
copyright,
it
but
up
we won't get
now.
too picky.
Well, I need to say that if we were actually gonna delve into the gaming side of it, you know?
Oh, the mechanics of it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry. Okay. Cassie, anything else? All
No.
right.
Hey, thanks for having me on, guys.
Yeah. Thanks a lot. Appreciate your time. We'll have the episode out tomorrow.